Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that every small choice you make sends a ripple into your future. Not the dramatic movie-style choices, the tiny ones. The decisions so small that nobody notices them. Drinking a glass of water instead of soda. Reading one page instead of scrolling for 5 minutes. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator. What if these tiny actions were silently shaping your destiny more than the big ones? What if greatness wasn't built in sudden leaps, but in small steps repeated day after day? This is the world James Clear invites us into with Atomic Habits. A world where tiny habits are not insignificant, they are atomic. Small like atoms, but powerful like atomic energy. Before we dive deeper, imagine a man named Dave. Dave wants to lose weight, be more productive, stop procrastinating, and finally break that habit of staying up late. He tries. He fails. He tries again, but nothing sticks. He believes he's the problem. He believes he has no discipline. Until one day, something shifts. He realizes his habits aren't failing because he's weak. They're failing because his system is broken. And that is the central idea of this book. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. When you fix the system, the results take care of themselves. This script will take you through Dave's journey and along the way, reveal the entire philosophy of Atomic Habits. How tiny improvements compound, how identity changes drive real transformation, and how small actions repeated consistently turn you into a completely different person. The book begins with the story of a cycling team, Team Sky, the British cyclists who were once considered some of the worst in the world. They hadn't won a Tour de France in 110 years. Then Dave Brailsford came in as the performance director with an approach he called the aggregation of marginal gains. Instead of trying to create one big improvement, he searched for tiny improvements everywhere. The seats were changed for more comfort. The tires were rubbed with alcohol for better grip. The mattresses and pillows were customized so each rider slept better. Even the van was repainted white so dust could be spotted easily. Every tiny improvement was too small to matter on its own, but together, they changed everything. Within a few years, Team Sky dominated cycling and won multiple Tour de France titles. James Clear uses this story to show us something profound. Small habits are not just cute ideas. They are powerful forces that reshape our lives. Imagine yourself like Team Sky. Imagine applying small gains to your personal life every day. You may not notice the change tomorrow, but in a year, 2 years, or 5 years, your life will look dramatically different. This is the essence of the first major idea. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money multiplies over time when you invest it, your habits multiply over time when you repeat them. A tiny 1% improvement each day doesn't feel like much, but over a year, it creates massive transformation. Similarly, a 1% decline each day doesn't feel dangerous, but over months and years, it destroys your potential. James Clear then introduces one of the most important concepts of the book, the power of identity-based habits. Many people try to change their behavior by focusing on what they want, goals. But the real transformation begins when you change who you believe you are, identity. Instead of saying, I want to read more, identity says, I am a reader. Instead of saying, I want to be fit, identity says, I am an athlete. Instead of saying, I want to stop smoking, identity says, I am not a smoker. Once your identity shifts, your behavior naturally follows. You don't chase habits, you embody them. Every action you take becomes a vote for the person you want to be. Even if you fail occasionally, it doesn't matter. What matters is the direction of your identity. Now imagine Dave again. For years, he repeated the same cycle. Set a goal, stay motivated for a few days, fall back into old habits. But things changed the moment he stopped focusing on the goal and started focusing on becoming a better version of himself. He didn't aim to run 5 kilometers. He aimed to become the kind of person who runs daily. He didn't aim to read 30 books a year. He aimed to become the kind of person who reads every day. And slowly the habit stuck, not because he forced himself, but because it matched his identity. Once identity is addressed, Clear takes us into the core mechanics of habit formation. He explains that habits are created by a loop made of 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. A cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. A craving motivates you to act. A response is the actual habit you perform. And a reward satisfies your craving and teaches your brain to remember the pattern. This loop runs quietly in the background of your life, shaping your routines without you even noticing. The entire book, in a way, is about mastering these 4 stages and redesigning them to create better habits and break bad ones. So let's walk into the practical side. Imagine you want to build a habit, say, studying daily, eating healthier, waking up earlier, or exercising. The first law says, make it obvious. Your environment should make your good habit visible and easy to start. If you want to read more, keep a book on your pillow so you see it every night. If you want to drink more water, keep a bottle on your desk. If you want to wake up early, put your alarm across the room so you must get up to turn it off. Our environment influences our behavior far more than motivation does. When cues are obvious, habits become easy. But making it obvious isn't enough. You must also make it attractive. The brain is wired to repeat behaviors that are appealing. One way to make habits attractive is through temptation bundling, pairing something you need to do with something you enjoy. For example, only watching your favorite show while working out, only listening to your favorite playlist while cleaning your room, only drinking your favorite coffee after writing a page of your book. Suddenly, the habit you want becomes linked with something you like, and your brain begins to crave the positive routine. The third step is to make it easy. Forget perfection. Forget intensity. What you need is consistency. Clear emphasizes the power of reducing friction. Want to read more? Read 1 page. Want to meditate? Start with 1 breath. Want to journal? Write 1 sentence. Want to exercise? Put on your shoes and walk for 2 minutes. When you make the action simple, the resistance drops and the habit begins to stick. Standardize before you optimize. Another beautiful idea from the book. You can improve later. First, make the habit part of your identity. Dave learned this the hard way. He tried going to the gym for 1 hour every day, failed, and quit. But then he applied the 2-minute rule. Instead of aiming for a full workout, he simply committed to changing into his workout clothes and stepping outside. That's it. Some days he would return home immediately, but most days, since he was already dressed and outside, he ended up doing a short workout anyway. The small action removed the friction that had been stopping him. Soon, the workout habit became natural. Then comes the final part. Make it satisfying. Human brains crave immediate rewards, even though most good habits have delayed rewards. The solution is to celebrate small wins. After finishing a workout, mark a big X on your calendar. After reading, allow yourself a small treat. After meditating, play your favorite song. These rewards tell your brain, this habit feels good, which reinforces the behavior. A habit must feel satisfying for it to stick. So how do you break a bad habit? Simple. Invert the 4 laws. Make the bad habit invisible. Hide the cue. If you want to stop eating junk food, don't keep snacks at home. If you want to stop scrolling late at night, keep your phone in another room while sleeping. Out of sight, out of mind. Make the habit unattractive by reminding yourself of the consequences. Make it difficult by increasing friction. For example, deleting social media apps so logging in takes more effort. And lastly, make it unsatisfying by using accountability partners or self-tracking. When the cost of the habit becomes high, you naturally avoid it. As Dave continued his journey, he realized something profound. Success is not about intensity, it is about consistency. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to show up every day, even on the days you don't feel like it. The magic is not in the big moments, it is in the small repetitions. James Clear warns us about a common danger, the plateau of latent potential. This is the phase where you work hard but see no results. You go to the gym for weeks without losing weight. You write daily without your work improving. You try building a habit but feel like it's not working. This is where most people quit. But what they don't realize is that results take time. Just like an ice cube doesn't melt at 25 degrees, but suddenly melts at 32 degrees, your progress may be invisible until one day, everything changes. Persistence is what carries you through the plateau and into the breakthrough. One of the most beautiful ideas in the book is the concept of environment design. Dave discovered that self-control is not something you have, it is something you create. People with good habits are not more disciplined, they simply have environments that support their behavior. The person who keeps a guitar on the stand will play more often than the person who keeps it in the closet. The person who leaves fruits on the table will eat healthier than the person who hides them in the fridge. Environment shapes behavior. If you want to change your habits, change your surroundings. James Clear also explains the importance of social environment. We imitate the habits of the people around us. If your friends go to the gym, you'll go more. If your family eats healthy, you'll follow. If your environment values productivity, you'll naturally become more productive. Dave began joining communities that matched the identity he wanted to build. Reader groups, running groups, productivity communities. Slowly, he absorbed the habits of the people around him. Join a culture where your desired behavior is normal, the book says. It's one of the most powerful habit hacks. As Dave transformed, he also learned about the danger of habit boredom. When a habit becomes automatic, it becomes easy to get bored. Many people quit when the routine becomes mundane. But true mastery, James Clear tells us, is the ability to stay consistent even when it becomes boring. The professionals stick to their habits even on days they feel unmotivated. Motivation is fragile. Systems are reliable. That is how champions are made. Not by sudden inspiration, but by disciplined consistency. As the story continues, James Clear introduces the concept of tracking. What gets measured gets improved. Dave began tracking his habits, writing them down, marking them, visualizing them. The tracking itself became motivating because each checkmark was a small victory. But Clear also warns us, never let tracking become more important than the habit itself. Missing one day is not failure, but missing twice begins a pattern. So the rule is simple, never miss twice. Toward the end of the book, we learn about the importance of reflection and review. Habits are not just about doing, they are about improving. Once a week or once a month, ask yourself, what is working? What needs adjusting? What habits are serving you? And what habits are holding you back? This reflection keeps you aligned with your identity and your long-term vision. The transformation Dave experiences mirrors what James Clear wants for every reader. He starts as someone who believes he has no discipline, but slowly, through tiny steps, he becomes someone new. His identity changes, his habits change, his life changes. And that is the message of Atomic Habits. Tiny habits don't just change what you do, they change who you are. Imagine your life 1 year from now. Not dramatically different, just slightly better. A little healthier, a little more focused, a little more disciplined. That difference compounds. And tiny improvements, repeated over time, create extraordinary outcomes. The final message is simple yet profound. Small habits don't seem like much today, but they shape who you become tomorrow. Every action is a vote for the type of person you want to be, and you always have the power to choose the next action. This is the essence of Atomic Habits, the idea that big change comes from small steps. Not once, not twice, but repeated consistently. Your future is not shaped by inspiration or motivation. It is shaped by the tiny habits you repeat every day. Choose them wisely, nurture them patiently, and your life will transform in ways you cannot yet imagine.